Have you ever watched the popular game show Deal or No Deal? It's completely luck-based. Basically how the game works is, contestants must first choose a case that they believe contains $1 million, which is the most amount of cash you could win on this show. Then every round, they must select the lowest numbers possible by guessing which cases contain those low numbers. At the end of each round, they are given an offer based on how good they did, selecting the lowest numbers possible. For example, one round they might be offered around $100,000, another round they're offered around $300,000, and another round they are offered $500,000. It's the easiest game show ever invented because if you really think about it, all you have to do is not be greedy, not be stupid, and press the button to receive the cash. There is no catch. They literally just hand you money. Yet time and time again, you'll see a contestant who ricks it all. They think they could go just a bit higher than the ridiculous amount of money they're already guaranteed to have. And as a result, more often than not, they are humbled and go home with either a few $100s or even worse, single digits. When again, all they had to do was use basic common sense math skills to conclude that the hundreds of thousands of dollars they were gifted with was in fact a good deal. The blessing was right in front of them, but by the time they realized that, it's already too late. In a way, this is how life is. Sometimes we receive an opportunity so great and maybe even amazing from our unique perspective, but since our sinful nature is never satisfied, we give up on that opportunity quickly without giving it a fair chance and either move on to the next thing or try to get quote unquote something a little better. And to avoid confusion, there is a difference between taking a risk by saying, no, this both morally and truthfully doesn't feel right. I could honestly do better, and just being greedy and ungrateful. Hope that makes sense. Taking a risk is great. It's what gets you to amazing places. It's important to take risks in life. Sometimes you do have to say no to things. I'm simply talking about the instances where we know what we have is already amazing, rare and enough, but we're not grateful enough for it. And we're too blind to see the truth, thinking that, well, if I got this thing, then who's to say I can't have the perfect thing? With this logic, we live more in our fantasies rather than in reality. Our greedy ego gets the better of us, so we take what we have for granted and get carried away with our materialistic cravings. In my opinion, this is an example of materialistic greed. Greed isn't just about money. It can present itself in other areas of life as well. To fully get my point across, I want to talk about the Chowder episode, Shopping Spree. In this episode, Chowder and Mung goof off and purposely break a machine so that they can use it as an excuse to use the money box, which contains thousands of dollars. The problem is they get carried away with the money and become like shopping women and buy whatever crosses their path. They go on to buy pretty much everything in the store. It starts with a harmful pair of sunglasses, and then it quickly escalates into something ridiculous. Hopefully by now you're able to fully understand my argument. They're not used to having things that are so expensive and valuable. It's new to them. This must have been a happy day for all three characters. This is why they forget their morals. They allow the money to change them for the worse. They feel like they're on top of the world and everybody loves them now.
And just think of all the other cool stuff here that the ladies love. I bet if you buy some more, you won't have to kill ladies. They'll just talk to you.
You think?
That they could do no wrong. And when you have an ego like that, that's when foolish decisions are made. Life will humble you. At some point, someone's gotta say, I don't need to spend any more money. I have enough, I've done enough, I am enough. Not in a lazy sort of way, but with an attitude of gratitude. And as I've said earlier, it's deeper than just money. This principle also applies to other areas of life. It applies to physical things in general. Even Mung says,
"All right, let's go home and roll around in our useless material possessions."
They're playing deal or no deal with life. And when you do that, 9 times out of 10, you lose. So after they buy one last unnecessary thing, they discover that, surprise, surprise, they're all out of money. They finally realize they got carried away with what they had, and they're humbled. They also realize they didn't even need all the things they bought. So then they try to do some damage control. There's this hilarious fourth wall break skit that you have to look up for yourself. Trust me, it's worth it.
No money means no animation.
What are we gonna do?
Rather.
So then Truffle shows up and gets really pissed. She's like, "Where's all my money? What the hell? How do you waste like $50,000 in a day? How is that even possible?" Long story short, the characters are reminded of the lesson that money isn't everything. Another message I could add is, have fun with life, but don't get carried away. Be humble. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for all your blessings. Be grateful for your life. It's so easy to get carried away, be greedy, take things for granted, take people for granted, take oxygen for granted, take plants for granted, take a roof over your head for granted, take beds for granted, take food for granted, take water for granted. And when we do that, we forget we're already rich in nature, not because of the material items we have, but because God designed us that way. You never know when something you love will be taken away from you. After all, nothing lasts forever. There's a saying that goes, you don't know what you got until it's gone. To those of you who are still waiting for the perfect thing, whatever that thing is for you personally, it's never going to be perfect. Again, it is important to keep trying, grinding, and dreaming for new things and new opportunities. However, there comes a time and place where you realize if what you're pursuing is borderline perfection, then perhaps what you really want isn't this material thing. What you really want is God. But when you finally win in life, don't let that change who you are. Always have a humble heart, no matter what. If you can remember that, the money won't get to you. The attention from girls won't make you think you're the most attractive person on the planet. And the expensive material possessions won't make you believe you're Bill Gates all of a sudden. All you really need is God. Nothing else compares. Thank you for watching.